but breaking news, it's cold in winter, but it's particularly cold at the start of this winter. Now, yes, everyone else can run off and say why they think it's the case and why everyone needs to have more renewable power, whatever, boring. The stuff that's been beautiful to have a look at, and I hope nobody's been caught up in this in the negative side if you're watching us in the central west of New South Wales. Remember we did Our Town from Orange a few weeks ago? Well, the snow is falling there. Always good if, like mine, my kids have never seen snow, so if you get a bit of pre-warning of this stuff, go and check out regional parts of Australia, which might get a little dusting here or there. However, there were some other issues, including what about in and around Mount Hotham? Wow. Not just cold, but a snow dump. People who ended up, hikers got caught, and a whole bunch of people ended up spending last night in that weather in their cars. Well done to the Victorian SES, the New South Wales Police, and all of the local officials in and around places like Hotham, Thredbo and all the rest of it that had to go and get people in the middle of those snowstorms. Not stuff we expect in Australia, but it is something that becomes very usual, and now there's more camera phones than ever before, so we know about every little thing that happened, including what a way to spend part of the King's birthday long weekend.
The road was actually closed and there were signs and barricades up, but the physical gate hadn't been locked yet for the winter. That was due to happen this Thursday.
We did what we could ahead of the weekend, which was putting out the signage, notifying people. But that process to formally close the road takes a number of days. We've got to get the agreement of Vic, Paul, Parksvic and Deca. They've got to basically satisfy themselves that we're not locking people into the park.
So, as always, the paperwork's fault. Now, the weather did extend. A pretty cold morning in the southeast of Queensland all the way through to parts of Victoria. Again, start of winter, surprise, surprise, but still, it's worth learning exactly why this little snap is happening right now. And, of course, Sky News has a 24-hour weather service.
It's been very cold throughout the southeast over the past few days and, of course, rather windy with plenty of wet weather all floating about. Now, that's on account of this low, which is continuing to hover off the east coast of New South Wales, really stirring up a little bit of trouble.
Now, little bit of good news, not enough to say that it is drought broken, but where it wasn't snow, there was rain, and there was a lot of rain that made it into regional Victoria in the past couple of days, like 30 mils in some parts. I was noticing some people on social media saying that it was even a whole lot more than that. So thankfully just some of the areas that have been drought affected of recent times, and we know that they have not been getting the support that they needed. The local communities have been blowing up about that. We're going to keep talking about it, but a little bit of rain. Again, Sky News weather with some good news. A follow-up. Again, this never happens on the news, does it? They tell you what's going wrong, but they never tell you the follow-up. Well, here's the follow-up. A little bit of rain to those who need it most.
Into South Australia, and this is a location that has had some pretty decent totals over the past week or so, and that's, of course, much welcome given all the drought-affected regions that have been just missing out constantly for the past few months.